welcome. Take a minute to welcome your breath, your body, your what you're longing for, what's most important to you. Let it all invite everyone to the table or move to a different table. So the topic for today is often awe, wonder, curiosity, and I am very curious about that space between the way things are, meaning in this moment, how the causes and conditions, and the way that I want things to be, the answers that I want from people, and more likely. Um, and in this particular instance, if you're finding examples in your own life, it's usually somebody we uh, appears to have power over us in a social situation. I don't even know how to define that, except for a parent, or if this is a parent-child relationship, or when I perceive that I don't have the access to social capital that I want. So coming back to that space between things, like in this moment, how things are, and when I'm waiting for an email response from somebody, or waiting for a telephone response, or waiting for a text back, there's something happens to me in that space that gets very, very churned up. There's a lot of rough water in there for me. In the past, often I've continued to write emails every day or send text every day or voicemails or something like that. Oh, poor Barbara, right? You know, that agitation is like, well, maybe if I'd said it this way, maybe if I'd done this, maybe she'll understand if I say it like this. And and there's that space there that I could just give more space to. And I say just like it's easy. I've gotten better at it. And living in that space, waiting for people to answer, was something that's super, super important to me. The thing often I define as super important to me is a strategy to meet a need, is attachment to the way things ought to be or should be. So the churning is my making up stories of, they're saying no. Yeah, oftentimes they are. Um, so this is just me. You might have, totally different background, totally different triggers that you have. And wherever you are, wherever you get churned up in that space between wanting things a certain way and in actuality things are this way, that we perceive as different than what we want. And sometimes it's just perceptions. Oftentimes it's just perception. So obviously when there's a power differential, it goes back a long ways, oftentimes before we could speak. That crying and not being fed that was just so popular for my generation. Um, I'm laughing because it's like, oh, what is popular parenting nowadays? I have no idea. And the topic for today is really the awe and wonder at that space, in that space, more curiosity. I am so intimate with what happens to me in these situations. Like, oh boy, I have time to explore that space between when I'm arguing with reality. And it's often said, you may want to not argue with reality because you're going to lose every time. So just coming back to this moment and stop the fighting. I literally am being, even though I'm aware of it, it doesn't keep me up as long as it used to. It's like, oh, how many fights am I involved with in my mind? I call them fights, but it's usually pleading. Help, please answer. Um, and where are you right now, my beloved? Do you have a pattern that you notice in what I describe? I'm guessing being human, unless the cat YouTube channel is putting my videos on, or dog channel, something like that. Here, listen to Barbaresha while I go to work. If you're human, you probably have something that happens between when you're not getting your strategies and you can just look at the way things are. That space between the way things are and what you want is huge sometimes. Or what we think we want. Or when we imagine we don't have. All kinds of variations of that. Giving it more like, awesome, can I open to that? To what happens in my body? Have it less about getting an answer and more about exploring. And if they don't answer for longer, you've got more time to explore. Yippee, right? Do I really say yippee? Not usually. And it's like, oh, I noticed there's that again. And someone once told me that you're trained in the corporate environment to not answer people's emails right away, to actually wait until they try to contact you 3 times. It shows that you have power. Oh, God, right? And it's very effective, and it's very sad. Um, and it's the way things are. It's that accepting, oh, yes, some people do that, and others don't. So, again, giving more space. I don't know if they received that training and they are doing that. I don't know. That's the awe, the wonder, the curiosity. And that when our loved ones are in that space, helping them be there by holding their hand, either by talking, by not talking, by listening. You may not want to share your insights unless they beg you. Just be with that. Your friends that are struggling with this, yourself, with curiosity. What's going to happen in that space? What's actually there? Can we trust life enough to just maybe even relax in that space? So that's how we offer this compassion, that we start with ourselves. It's like, oh yes, I have that in me. It's gotten easier to live with since I was maybe 6 months old. And I can be more curious. I can be more intimate with that. Offering it to our loved ones, offering it to neutral people. When I notice that somebody sends me a second email, it's like, oh, something's going on with them. Possibly. I don't know. And that's a neutral person. offering it to people that trigger us, who would just be as happy as if we never answered. Boy, I'm laughing again. It's like, again, that assumption. I don't want to trigger people. And chances are I'm going to. The more eyes that are looking at me, more likely there's going to be somebody's going to come up. I'm thinking of offering this meditation to people that trigger us and that we're triggered by. Just the way we show up, we can be ourselves and cause all kinds of pain in people. We don't want that, and it hurts to want that, actually. It hurts to want to not to trigger people. Giving myself compassion for that. And to honor the love that it's coming from. And may all beings benefit from this practice by being able to be more curious of that space between the way things are and the way we think that we want them to be. Thank you so much for joining us.